at the moment, one of the reasons that Sweden recently elected a right-center reformist government is because they found that with their welfare system, 20%, that's 20% of able-bodied adults did not work. Why not? Because they got money. The idea that government should pay people regardless of their productivity and their hard work and their commitment is the essentially wrong-headed idea of socialism. And the idea, by the way, that people should have no distinction, no ability to, if people do not want to buy health insurance, if they are that stupid, right? People have a constitutional right. Wait. Are people saying here, is someone saying here that it is smart not to buy health insurance? Okay, let's try to, for the left side of the audience, let's work on this for just a moment. Let's try to work on this for just a moment. Okay, we believe, you believe that it is smart not to buy health insurance, but it is somehow fair. But it is somehow fair to have government take money out of your pocket to pay for health insurance? Look, the idea, by the way, Tom was talking about straw men, people lying in the street must be mentally ill, people who choose not to work must be mentally ill. It's also a straw man, it is also a straw man to say that people in the United States who need emergency medical care can't get it. The problem with medical care is not its availability, it is how we pay for it. And the notion...
That's right.
Yeah, and the notion that your neighbor should pay for your medical care if you choose not to get insurance for yourself is a wrong... Wait, I'm sorry.
Hang on.
Hold on.
Let him finish.
Hold on. Lady in the front is yelling back, nobody chooses not to get medical care. 47 million Americans choose not to. Most of them are young people who feel they don't need it. They're wrong. They should have some protection from catastrophic care. But for you to say to your neighbor, that you must have medical care, medical insurance, and we're going to take your money to pay for it, it's this basic distrust of the people. And let me mention one other thing. Tom spoke about rights. One of the key elements of debate right now involves the most fundamental of all American rights, which is the right to do what we're doing tonight, which is free speech. Why is it that so many people, like your Senator Durbin from Illinois right here, don't trust the people to choose their own radio shows? Why do they distrust free speech and want to close down stations like your station, Tom, and our station by the imposition of the gag rule known as the Fairness Doctrine?
May I?
Fresh meat, Michael.
Excuse me. Hello. Folks, let's try to give them a little respect. I know it's hard. I know it's emotional. But may I? If you want to talk, maybe you should come up here and take the podium.
Don't say that.
Don't. We don't have an agree again to restrain him.
On the other hand, let me try to advance this debate a little bit. It is my turn to ask Mr. Medved a question. What I hear you saying, sir, you said 47 million Americans don't want health care. 47 million Americans can't afford health care.
No, hold on.
Wait.
Hold on. I guess you're misquoting me. I said health insurance, not health care. There's a difference between health care and health insurance.
Well, I know that because I was an advocate for health care here in Illinois. What I hear you saying is that as far as you're concerned, people have a right to die. You said they have a right to live. They have a right to die as well. If you believe that, do you believe that we should take it one step further and allow assisted suicide? Do you?
No, I do not.
No, do you?
But no, I do not. However, I do believe, as you do, I believe passionately that someone who wants to refuse care should be allowed to do so.
I didn't ask you that. I asked you if you believe that they should have assisted
what happens
suicide.
when someone, I happen to believe, Mr. K, I happen to believe that if someone is stupid enough to choose not to purchase health insurance. By the way, Tom, this is a very interesting thing. They did a study of the uninsured. And of the uninsured, about 40% earn in excess of $50,000 a year. Now, that doesn't make them rich, but it means that you are not talking about, because poor people, genuinely poor people in America, tend to use Medicaid. And you're talking about 35 million of them who get Medicaid? So the idea that someone should have a right to refuse medical care is exactly parallel to the idea that someone should have a right, if they choose not to buy health insurance.
You didn't answer my question. The question is, do they have a right to die, to assisted suicide?
They have a right to refuse care. They do not have a right to enlist or pay someone else to kill them.
Why?
I do not support a right to murder for hire, and I believe that's what a right to die is, as it's often described in both of our states. It's interesting, Tom and I represent the two states in the Union, Oregon and Washington, both of which, through a vote of the people, passed right to die legislation.
Wow, a lot to cover. First of all, in invoking Sweden, once again, Michael, you suggested that I was advocating that people were fundamentally lazy and fundamentally didn't want to work, and if they could just get the money, you know, and that's a good, and that in my mind that's a good thing. In my mind, that's not a good thing. I agree with you in the work ethic. And I think most liberals do.
Tom, can I ask you a quick question?
We're supporters of the work ethic.
Just a quick question for the sake of
free enterprise. We're supporters of people having a job.
For the sake of clarity, do you believe that people who choose not to work should have their medical care paid for by their neighbors?
Let me finish my point. Well, okay, I'll go to your question. Your question was...
Yeah, my question was, do you believe that people who choose not to work, and there are such people, I have relatives who choose not to work, unfortunately,
sure,
who are constantly calling me for money.
Yeah.
And do you believe that such people have a right to medical care paid for by their neighbors?
What I know is that if we don't all get it, I am answering the question. I'll give you a very simple answer, yes. If we don't all, there you go. If we don't all say we are all in this, let me spin that back, Michael. Do you think that you know, you should be required to pay for the fire department if my house is on fire?
Yes.
Okay. Similarly,
yes.
I think that if you are really sick and you need health care, that I should be part of all of us who are helping to pay for your health care. I think that we're all in this together.
No,
I see health care, I see my body the way that you see your house.
Okay.
Now to go back to the earlier point, you raised the issue of the right to die.
Let me just answer to what you're saying, and then you want to go back to the right to die. To answer what you're saying, I do believe right now in the United States of America, government spends a great deal of money providing emergency health care and providing care and sometimes very elaborate care for people who can't pay for it. We have programs
in a
of
very
Medicaid.
wasteful
We
fashion.
have programs of county hospitals. We have a great deal of governmental involvement in the healthcare system.
Michael, if you have a little pain in your groin and you wonder if it's prostate cancer and you show up at an emergency room and it actually is prostate cancer, what are they going to do when you show up at that emergency room?
They're
going to throw you out. They're going to say, you're not bleeding. Leave. And then a year or two later, when you are starting to pee blood, you come back, and then they'll see you at the emergency room. If that's your idea of a healthcare system that works,
I think we're in trouble.